Hi, this is Safari from Scrapbook Mania, and today I'm going to create a layout and I'm going to use a couple of products. One of the products that I'm going to be using is this Dear Lizzie stamp, and it's her second stamp, the second version. And I'm not using the date. I'm actually going to be using, and maybe I'll use today, I'm not sure, but mainly I'll use it for the sentiment. I'm also going to be using these new punches from We Are Memory Keepers, and this is the mini 8 punch with its border punch. You can create like a punch around the page, just like Martha Stewart punches, with these punches. So I'm going to go ahead and use this. Okay. I'm also going to be using this new stamp by Prima Marketing. And I got this at Tuesday morning. It was $7.99. So I'm going to be using this swirlies. And I'm also using this paper from Tim Holt Ideology. I bought this paper some time ago. It was on discount in one of the stores. It's an old paper line. It's called Retro Grunge. Retro Grunge. So I'm going to be using some of these papers. So let me go ahead and get started. I'll fast forward the video. So here I'm just kind of picking the papers that I'm going to use, and I decided to use that circle page and also the one with the stars. So I'm using my puncher, not a punch around the page, but the We Are Memory Keeper punches. So you punch the corners first, and then you start punching the sides. And you can click on the link, and I have a video showing you how to use these punches. And they're a little different than Martha Stewart. You just got to get used to a little bit, but they're not very hard to use. And that was a 12 by 12, and it works. It fits perfect on a 12 by 12 base cardstock. So it's a little smaller once you finish punching all the sides out. So here I'm using my Prima Swirl, and I wanted to kind of make it very grungy. So I'm kind of stamping it once, and then I stamp it again just to give it that real grungy look. And I punched on the side, and then I'm gonna punch on the top, creating kind of like a V. And then I'm gonna go to the opposite side and do the same thing, and just punching a smaller kind of V on that side. So these little brushes, I got them at Harbor Freight. And I like using kind of tools that I find at the hardware store for my layouts. And see, I'm showing you one of the brushes, how you can use it to kind of really grunge up your pages, and then I'm using it as stippling. And you get 3 brushes. One is like a toothbrush, and the other 2 are one brass and one metal. So here I'm just putting some more of my Glimmer Mist and really grunging up this page, which is kind of funny because I end up covering the whole thing. So I'm just laying it on my base page, and now I'm ready to place my photo. So I'm getting all my embellishments in place, and then and since it's a group photo, in a moment you're going to see me putting that arrow showing where I'm at in this group. So here, that paper I want to show you, it's similar to the Dear Lizzie paper, new paper line. And what I did is I showed you that template. I created a template with circles, and then I used Versamark and embossing ink to create those circles. So now I'm just placing all my embellishment, and these photos, this layout is for my military album of myself. And so I work for the U.S. Public Health Service, and I deploy during disaster, and this is one of our training exercise that we have, and they took a group photo of all the participants of that exercise and send us each a nice little printout of it. So that I wanted to kind of scrap this so that way in the future my kids could see what I've done, and also my grandchildren. So here I'm using some stamps. I used a Dear Lizzie stamp to say, remember this. And then I'm using a regular stamp, and I'm placing here the moments, or remember this moment. So I'm showing you a close-up look. Now that flower that I put there needed something else, so I wanted to bring some red. So I decided to kind of just color the flower in. And I'm giving you a close look up of the page here. And then those little dot is with dimensional paint. So I'm moving on to the second page, and I'm doing the same thing. I used a punch to create a doily. Then I'm using my swirls to kind of create a grunge background, as you can see there. But now, instead of placing it in the middle of the page like I did with the first layout, I want to create a little bit of difference. I don't want to create the same layout on the other page. So I decided to kind of cut pieces of paper and create like a block underneath, a block layout. So here I'm cutting, and I'm showing a little bit of the black border. And then I'm looking for another paper to put on the upper right hand side of that page. So I decided to use one of the 6x6 because I don't want to cut a whole 12x12 since most of it's going to be covered. So now I'm just kind of laying out the different pieces that I already cut out, and I'm using a combination of Tim Hope pages, and then I had a lot of leftover cutouts from my heritage album, so I'm kind of going through all the pieces that I cut out for that album and kind of reusing them for this one. So I found a label, and I decided to use it to put the date, and then I'm putting U.S. Public Health Service, USPHS, instead of the whole name. And then I'm just kind of figuring out all the layers, and I haven't glued everything down because I usually wait until the end to glue everything down. So here I'm cutting it a little bit because I want the black to show on the sides. And now I'm just placing my doily off center. So at the end, I would cut the doily. So once you do that, you just place all your pages, and then you just cut the excess off like I did there. And now I'm just grunging it up a little more. And I'm using this dropper. Now, by the way, this dropper, I found it actually at Hobby Lobby. And I really like how it works, especially with this paper. This paper has some kind of coating, so it doesn't soak in when you first place your glimmer mist. So you have time to kind of work with it, move it. And here I really like that. See how it kind of looks like splatter, and it just, I like that look. But I do all this and I cover it all up. But that's okay. I like how it looks. So here I decided to kind of make arrows with the paper. And then I love arrows. I do not have an arrow stamp. So, and I like this technique. You just take any square piece of paper and just cut the corners off. And that will create your arrows. But once I placed these arrows down, it kind of got lost a little bit on the layout. So then I outlined it. And that really made it pop. And I outlined my little tag there. So I'm ready. So this page is almost complete. As you can see there, I'm just giving you a close-up look of the arrows, the tag, and then my alpha towel with the little banner there. So I decided to put some dimensional paint and created the dots. Now I'm creating a 3 pages. So this is the next page, and I already took some of my papers and I already typed my journaling on the end strip of that paper with my typewriter. And then I'm placing that mat is actually, I believe, 5.5 by 7.5, or 5.25 by 7 1/4. And then I'm placing my 5 by 7 photo mat there for my photos. So here I'm placing some of my my labels, but it needed something to ground it, so I decided to take that Durley. It was a little too stark when I placed it on the page because everything is kind of muted and grungy looking. So I decided to grunge it up, and then it fits nice. Well, after I grunged it up, it fit nicely with the rest of the page. And here are some of my dots that I use with dimensional paint. So I'm giving you the over view of the finished layout. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching. Bye now.